I once gave a refrigerator repairman several of my books and tapes. The repairman asked, "How do you ever expect to make any money when you give away all your stuff?" I replied, "When the day comes that you don't have to ask me that question, you'll have the answer. The more you give away, the more you have." It's a paradox, but it truly works. Nothing is formed, nothing dies. Everything is simply in transition. And that includes you, who you really are. You're eternal, you're changeless, trapped in a form that is in transition. Here's a little lesson in logic. If you control your thoughts, and your feelings come from your thoughts, then you control your feelings. Keep that in mind always. Whatever feelings you're having, whatever emotions you're experiencing, they came from a thought. And you control your thoughts. And if you don't believe that you control your thoughts, then you send whoever it is that is controlling your thoughts to me. And I'll treat them. And you'll get better. That's how absurd it is. If you only believe what you see, then you're limited to what's on the surface. If you only believe what you see, why do you pay your electric bill? You've never seen electricity, and yet you know it's there. There was a time when scientists didn't believe in microscopic life. It wasn't the invention of the microscope that gave us microscopic life. That's always been there. Don't be limited in your life by the technology of your observation methods. If you are to change a habit, you must be the treatment. The treatment isn't something that happens to you. It's something that you are. No one can create anger or stress within you. Only you can do that by virtue of how you process your world. No limit people don't say, "I'm going to get it all." They say, "I am it all already, but I can grow." No one knows enough to be a pessimist. No amount of guilt can ever change history. No amount of guilt can ever change anything. Your guilt is a waste of time. Feeling guilty about the outcome of the Peloponnesian War isn't going to change it. This morning is just as over as the Peloponnesian War. Blame is a neat little device that you can use whenever you don't want to take responsibility for something in your life. Use it, and you will avoid all risks and impede your own growth. Make a personal commitment to do what you love and love what you do today. Be the cure. Don't look outside yourself for it. If prayer is you talking to God, then intuition is God talking to you. Listen to those inner signals that help you make the right choices, no matter what anyone thinks. Trust your intuitive voices and go with them. Learn to find a blessing in pain. Practice observing the pain rather than owning it. Loving sacredly means loving what is, even if you don't comprehend the deeper meaning behind it. Behavior is a much better barometer of what you are than words. I am grateful to all those people who said no. It is because of them that I did it all myself. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Every obstacle is a test. Keep in mind that life gives exams. Emotions are choices.
And where you place your attention is what you will manifest for yourself. And in reading the Kabbalah before going over to Marco Island to write Your Sacred Self, the thing that I got most out of the Kabbalah was this. It says in there that our purpose in being here on this planet is to move from one level to the next, from the physical level to the spiritual level. That's what we show up here for. That's what it means to be a spiritual being having a human experience. That we are here to move from one level to the next. And in order to be able to move from one level to the next, you must generate the energy to do so. Now, energy is a very key concept, and this is another one of those weird little things. But I suggest to you that you not only have a physical body, but you also have an energy body. And that energy body is with you, it's a double. And that body double is with you at all times. It surrounds you in a shape that is actually capable, you are capable of a great seeing. How do you say it, Marcella? Natoihe, a great seeing. And when you see this energy body, you will see that it is assembled around you in something called an assemblage point that is out back here someplace. And that assemblage point of energy is what determines your agreement with reality. And your agreement with reality cannot be shifted until you move that assemblage point of energy. And you can indeed move that energy. And when you are able to shift that energy, that is who you are, and shift it, you can experience and create and write a new agreement with reality which allows you to make a somersault into the unimaginable. And energy is not something that is visible. This planet is soaring through space. It is orbiting. It weighs trillions and trillions of tons. It is being held up and moving forward and circling all the time. And something is holding it up, and something is making it spin, and something is making it move. Something called energy that is also flowing through you. And everything on this spinning oblate spheroid. It's all moving and spinning. And you know that from your science classes. And that energy is also, that invisible energy is something that you have, an etheric energy body that you can learn to tap into. Shift that energy around. There's different ways of doing it. And as you learn to do it through meditative practices, you start to have a natoihi, a great seeing, an epiphany, satorai. An instant awakening. And when you are able to generate the energy, and the Kabbalah says, not only do you have to generate an incredible amount of energy in order to be able to go from one level to the next, but this is the aha, this is the eureka. Ready? That the only way, according to the Kabbalah, that you can generate the energy to move to the higher level is through a fall. A fall. F-A-L-L. I was a high jumper in the track team in high school. They set the bar up here, 5'6". I'm white, okay? White guys can't jump. I run up to the bar. I get down as low as I can. And in the process of getting down low, falling, I generate the energy to propel myself over the bar. That's how you high jump. In order to move from a lower level to a higher level, you have to fall to generate the energy. The same thing the Kabbalah says is true for all of us in our lives, and that every advancement in spiritual consciousness is preceded by a fall. And the ego is terrified of a fall. Because the ego will die if you find God. The ego is that false idea that you are separate, better, more important, prettier, more stronger, wealthier, better, all of those kinds of things that you have to constantly keep proving yourself to. Your higher self says, just be at peace. Your ego says, more is better. Your ego says, there is no peace in more is better. And if it promotes peace, then it's your higher self. If it promotes turmoil, it's your ego. So the ego just sort of likes to promote a sort of steady river of misery. Because it knows Ego knows that if you fall, that's when you will find God. And who doesn't when you fall? I mean, a breakup, an accident, a stroke, a heart attack, a bankruptcy, a divorce, a separation, a loss of a job. Anything that constitutes, quote, a fall makes you a gentler, kinder, more God-like, more Christ-like, more Buddha-like soul. And when you then go there, you generate the energy to move to the next level. So why aren't we taught? Why are we in a paradigm that falls are bad? Instead of being in a paradigm that says a fall gives me the opportunity to generate the energy I need to get to the next level, and I probably can't get there without it. William Blake put it in poetry in Songs of Innocence better than I can ever say it. He said, "Man was made for joy and woe. And when this we rightly know, through the world we safely go. Joy and woe are woven fine, a clothing for the soul divine." And everybody you ever known who's had an accident, who's had a breakup, who's had one of these things happen to them, that they generally find themselves in a higher place. And if you can get there now without the need to have a trauma, you can begin to experience all of the things that are happening in your life as part of this divine intelligence. And they no longer then become part of suffering. As Nisargadatta says, you do not suffer. Only the person you imagine yourself to be suffers. Who you are. And when you learn to live there, you can just witness the suffering. And it no longer even is that. It's very wise words from the Kabbalah.